Hi everyone, welcome to Making Things with String. This is my crafty YouTube channel. My name is Kate, my pronouns are she, her, and I am a crafter from Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome. This is my 24th Flosstube video. So today, it's been over a month, I'd say probably 6 weeks since the last video that I posted. So I'm just going to show you all of the things I have worked on since that last video of mine. I have some knitting progress as well as a lot of cross-stitch updates. And maybe even a little clip with Julia, just like I did last time. Alright, so let's get started with some cross-stitch updates. I have some finishes and some whip updates to show you. I'm just going to kind of go through them in no particular order. First up, I would like to show you my progress on Needs No Paint, which is an oldie but a goodie here on this channel. Needs No Paint is a chart by Heaven and Earth Designs. The art is by Jill Clare. Last time that you saw Needs No Paint in my whip parade, I was at 74.44% complete, so almost 75% complete. I had 62,376 stitches on it. So now here is what Needs No Paint is looking like. Look at it. So now I have 85.8% of this chart done, or 71,918 stitches. And if you're following along, that's quite a bit more than I generally do in 1 month. This month I did this whole front leg section and then came back over here and did this stuff down here. So it's getting close. Now, a lot of those stitches, that's a total of, let's see, these were all stitched in October and it was a total of 8,957 stitches that I input into Pattern Keeper. But not all of those were actual stitches. So I put in 2,658, like I marked off 2,658 white stitches that I'm not planning to stitch. I marked those off this month so that I would have a better idea of how many stitches I actually have left on this project. So if I do the subtraction, 8,957 minus 2,658, I actually stitched 6,299 stitches on this in October, which is still more than what my monthly goal has been. I've been trying to get 4,000 or 5,000 per month in order to get this finished before the end of the year. But I did have some catching up to do because I didn't get much stitching done on this in definitely September, maybe even August. So yeah, but it's back on track. And now that I'm finally filming my November video, I'll get back to it again. And I am still hoping to have this finished by the end of the year or shortly thereafter. So yeah, I'll show you here. In this part of the chart, there's a bunch of white stitching between those threads of hair, and I decided not to do those stitches, and that kind of goes down into this piece. So there's a bunch of white stitching that I'm not going to be stitching. So yay, this is looking really good. I'm excited, and I'm excited to be back on track to finish it at the end of this year. So looking forward to getting back to working on it. Now it's November 13th today, so I haven't worked on it at all in November, which has been almost a couple weeks. And then I also finished up my October stitching kind of earlier on in October. So it's been a little while since I've worked on it. I'm looking forward to getting back to it. I'm thinking that I might, so obviously I was kind of stitching over here and coming back over this way. I may come over here now and stitch some of these wispy hair feathers. You can see what this might look like. If you look up at the mane and at the tail, that's kind of what's going to be going on down here at the bottom as well. And they're really beautiful, but I don't like stitching them very much. So I don't want to leave myself with only that to stitch at the end. So this month I might try and put a little bit of work on that, and then leave some of this block stitching, more true full coverage stitching to the end of the year or to the end of the project. So that is my plan with Needs No Paint. So the next thing that I would like to show you is my finish of the second of the 2 Quaker Sister sampler, my Modern Folk embroidery. So since I'm all done, I'm not going to show a picture, but here it is. So last time that I showed this to you, I was just a little over 50% done, and now I have finished it. So I really focused on this and finished it up, and that is what it looks like. And I also have with me here the other Quaker Sister sampler, and it's going to be a little bit see-through, but here's what they look like together. Yeah, I'll get some footage of them too, so that you can see it a little bit better, but I'll be framing each of these and hanging them up together along with my finish of Modern Folk Embroideries Reaching Skyward 2023 annual stitch along. Really, really glad to have those done. Those are both stitched on a 32 count Roxy Floss Co. linen. The colorway is called In the Shade. It's this beautiful sort of deep green color. And the threads are also Roxy Floss Co. It's Kernel Mustard and Butterscotch. And I stitched those with 2 strands of thread over 2 fabric threads, except for the text on both of them, which is stitched 1 over 1. And yeah, that's sort of my first Quaker piece. One of my first true samplers. It was the pattern that I started right after I first started this channel a couple years ago in August. So September was coming up and I wanted to do Sampler September. So I started the first one then. And yeah, I finished that first one on May 24th, 2023. So started it September 1st, 2022, finished it May the 24th, 2023. I started the second one on this past New Year's Eve, so December 31st, 2023. And I finished it on October 13th this year, 2024. So a total of 2 years, a year each ish for each of those sister samplers. So very exciting. I'm not sure when I'm gonna get frames for those. I kind of want to get 3 frames at the same time, and I do think that they're all gonna need to be custom frames. So we'll see when I have the extra budget to do that kind of thing. Next up is another finish. This one is a fully finish. So let's see how well I can show this to you. That looks pretty good actually. This is Leshy Guardian of the Woods by The Witchy Stitcher. This has had a lot of progress since you last saw it. I put a lot of work on this in October, and I just finished it up fairly recently. Let's see, it was Leshy, where are you? I finished this up on November the 6th, but I spent a lot of time working on it in October. I love this piece. It's so cool. I'll insert some footage, of course, but also I'll show some pictures of where I've got it standing right now near my plants so that it can be the guardian of my plants. That piece is stitched on a 36 count stone gray linen from Zweigart, and I used the called for DMC. I stitched that with one strand of DMC over 2 fabric threads on the 36 count. So the black especially looks a little spotty. It's not like super high coverage, but I quite like that actually. It's something that I've come to like the look of when it's a little bit spotty and not super full coverage. So that's really great. I've got 2 finishes since my last video. So we'll talk a little bit about how my whip down goals are going and what I'm planning to do going forward. But before we get into that, I have 2 more things that I would like to show you. So first, once I finished Leshy, I pulled out my Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Arctic Animals stitch along and made a little bit of progress on that. So this is a pattern by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It's an ongoing stitch along. They are still releasing clues every month. And I'd fallen a little bit behind on this, so I'll have a photo or some footage here of what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I had finished the first 2 clues, and I think I had just started this 3rd clue, the caribou. So now, here's what it's looking like. I have finished my little caribou. Let me... finished my little caribou. She's so cute. He is so cute. This is what it's looking like. I have decided not to backstitch the words going forward just because sometimes those are getting a little bit messed up as I move a hoop around and such on this piece. So I might wait until the end and stitch those all in or decide what I'm going to do with that. But yeah, here's the caribou. So after this, I'm not sure, I think that the next clue is here and the next clue after that is here. But we also have some like mountains and houses up at the very top here. I think I'm going to stitch those next. But yeah, here's how it's looking so far. This is being stitched on a piece of Lugana that I hand dyed myself. It's a 25 count sort of light blue Lugana that I dyed with charcoal and aquamarine red dye. And I am using the called for DMC thread, stitching on that 2 strands of thread over 2 fabric threads. And yeah, I love it. Frosted Pumpkin is so cute. All right, so the next one that I want to show you is something that Julia and I are stitching together on Wednesdays. Today is Wednesday, and I'm going over there later, and she said that we could take a little clip together, so assuming that everything is still a go, we will do that. I'll insert our little clip here and talk about the project that we started together. Hi!
Hi!
Back here again with Julia. To give a little update on a project that we both started last week.
Yes.
And we'll give you an update on Julia's progress on her other whip as well. So, what did we just start, Julia?
This beauty.
Yeah.
A Mill Hill.
It's a Mill Hill. It's called Winter Holiday Collection. And this one's called Christmas Eve, it looks like.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Magnet included.
Yeah.
I didn't see a magnet.
It's the needles are like stuck to the magnet. Or at least they were in my little baggie. Maybe you don't have a magnet.
I don't know.
Mine has a magnet.
Is it supposed to go in the fridge or is it Christmas ornament? I guess it doesn't matter.
You could finish it either way.
Cute.
But yeah. I don't know. I
didn't notice that at first.
I'm gonna finish mine as an ornament, though. I think.
Yeah,
and
me
put it
too.
on my tree. So last week we kitted them up and started them, and so let's show our progress.
I might have done most of this today.
This is what I did last Wednesday evening while I was here.
And I made a mess last week. So I thought that I had to catch up, but
she was worried that I was going to be way far ahead.
I really did. I thought you were going to be in a beating and everything.
No!
I did. I was like, oh, dang.
Yeah, so that's okay. I mean, one of us is going to finish before the other one at some point. So.
I like it, but I don't.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Julia's first time ever stitching on perforated paper.
Yeah.
And we're stitching with 3 strands of thread.
Yeah.
And you're finding
I'm getting used to it because obviously I'm this far into it.
Yeah.
But my stitching is kind of messy. And I think that that's kind of attributed to the 3 strands, but it's also attributed to just the paper.
Yeah, stitching on paper is weird. It's harder. And you can't,
It is harder.
this is actually nice because it's smallish, so you can kind of get wherever you need to.
Yeah.
If you have, a bigger piece, sometimes it's hard.
I'm getting used to it. But, it just doesn't look as clean to me, but it's my first one. So
Yeah.
this is not myself.
Yeah, this is not my first one of these, so I
Yeah.
have one that I did previously.
It'll be interesting when we get into the beading.
Yes, I really like the beading. It's so funny
It's
because
pretty.
whenever you see stuff with beads on YouTube, you can't really see in the video, but when it's in person, it's so sparkly and
be pretty
really,
on
really
TV.
obvious. So
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
My book is so messy. You just don't look at this part.
Oh,
But yours
let me
is so
see.
nice. No.
Let's show.
This is the difference between I just started cross stitching and
I think
seasons.
it's fine.
It doesn't matter.
It
You know
gives
what? Whoever says that the back matters, I just can't agree.
It doesn't. You're gonna sandwich that in between some finishing fabric.
Yeah.
It gives it more texture. It gives it more girth.
More girth. Anyway, that's coming along.
Yeah, they're coming along.
I'm excited.
I think we'll be able to finish them in November. They're pretty
for sure.
quick, right?
Well, because we have to start our new project
That's right.
in December, so I really want to
Yeah.
finish her off.
So in December, in case you missed the last video, we're going to be doing together the Evertote Roxy Flosco Modern Folk Embroidery Holiday Countdown Stitch Along.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
That's a real mouthful.
It is. And so yeah, that's just we just got the booklet. We don't have the floss or our fabric.
But you opened yours, right?
I did because I wanted to see if there was a page that said here's the fabric size that you will need and such, but there wasn't. So I didn't look through the whole thing, but
My mom gave me a bunch of floss from the 80s.
Oh,
so I
did
might
she?
just use some of that.
nice. So stuff that she had left over from when she used to
She gave me this much of home sweet home, but it's not finished and
she's
Sweetheart.
started something.
Yeah, she started something in the 80s that was probably supposed to go in our kitchen or my bedroom, and she just got out of it. So she
Are you
found
gonna finish it?
Yeah. I should finish it and give it back to her.
Yeah, but here you go. I finished this for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
I had that too. Neil's grandmother was a stitcher, and she doesn't do it anymore. And so she gave me all of her cross stitch stuff, including a whole bunch of floss. So
that's expensive now.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, it felt reasonable.
Yeah.
When skeins were 30 cents.
I know. I mean, they're still not that bad, but definitely more.
It's a relatively cheap hobby, I will say.
Yeah, unless you start hoarding things.
Well, I mean, you have a bunch of projects on the go,
yeah.
and then now I'm starting to do that slowly.
Yeah, but per project, it's cheaper than a really fancy knitted sweater or something like that, for sure.
Sure.
All right, do you want to show the progress that you have on? This is called Christmas House.
Yes,
Christmas
says question mark winter house. Christmas house.
We'll look it up.
I'll look it up
on
again.
the previous video. But look,
Party
oh my gosh.
Okay, it needs to be ironed. But we were just saying, like, I just have to do the band of snow at the bottom. And I always end up doing all the boring white stuff at the end of each project so far. But hopefully, she's coming along. She looks really good on camera.
I know, right? It looks amazing. And hopefully the white will be a little easier on this fabric because this fabric's like light blue instead of like fully white. So
yeah, it's gonna be much easier.
I think it's awesome.
I didn't even use my grime grad that much because it is light blue, so it wasn't as obvious. But
it's so nice and like warm looking.
Yeah, it's really cute. I even thought about making it into a pillow.
Oh
yeah. I showed my mom and she was like, "Oh, are you gonna frame that?" And I thought, yeah, maybe. And then I was looking at it and it's like the perfect size for a
you can make a little throw pillow. I think
I've never done that before. Yeah. But have you done that before?
I've made little pillows. Yeah, nothing that big, but I mean, a pillow is pretty easy.
A pillow is a pillow.
Yeah,
right?
A pillow is very easy. It's just like cutting squares of fabric, flipping them inside out, sewing it.
Got it.
Right?
Did that in grade 8 home ec.
Yeah.
So
no prob.
Maybe. Could be cute.
I think that's
winter,
a good idea.
Christmas.
Because otherwise, like, if you frame it, it's going to have to be a fairly big frame, and those
then, like,
are expensive too.
And not only that, it's like if it's a seasonal thing, then I got to take it down, find a place to put it up, and like...
take something else down that you have up usually. Yeah, pillow you can just toss on the couch.
Exactly. I like it.
Yeah.
That'll be the next thing that I'll
then you'll need
figure
to find,
out how to do.
Yeah, what you need to do next then is find some fabric that coordinates with it that you can use for the back of the pillow. And you have to decide whether you want like the whole front to just be that, or if you want to do like a fabric border around this on the front.
Is that more complicated?
A little bit. In that case.
Okay, like let's start easy, and then as I get better, then I'll get more creative.
Makes sense. I think that's totally doable.
Yeah, I think it's doable.
Like this is a good size for a pillow.
I think so.
Like it would just be, I don't know, half an inch on either side, right? That you would lose.
Yeah,
totally.
So maybe next update there may be a pillow, but don't hold your breath.
Yeah, at some point.
At some point.
It's looking amazing.
Maybe when the Christmas tree's up. We'll see.
Cool.
That's it. That's all I've got.
Is that it?
I got this cute new needle minder.
Show them the needle minder.
It is a cat Puccino.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Starbucks.
I needed one that was stronger.
Hold it there again.
My DMC one. Oh, nice. Is it good?
Pull it back a little bit.
Focus
right here.
You can do it.
Yeah, it's good.
You get the idea. Anyway, it was way stronger magnet. My DMC one that I just got from Michael's, my needle kept falling off.
Yeah. Where'd you get that one?
I got it on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. I was looking on Etsy, but delivery.
Yeah. Aw. It's cute. I love it.
Yeah.
I've been using
it's still supporting somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody out there.
For sure. I have been using the little London bus.
Oh, yay!
Bus one on my Needs No Paint. So, all right.
How is Needs No Paint? I guess I'll find out when I watch the video.
Yeah, it's good. It's like 85% done. Yeah.
My mom really liked that. My mom watched the last video. Yeah. She was like, "Kate, that's incredible!" She was talking to you the entire time. She'll be excited for the update.
Good. Well, Pam. Just you wait.
Yeah.
Actually, if you're watching this video, you've already seen it. So.
She'll definitely watch it. She's subscribed.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, she loves Kate like one of her own. So. Anyway, yeah. So,
all right. Is that it for us?
For now, next time this will be done.
Yes.
It's a cute
Maybe
little
that will be done too.
We'll see.
Maybe both of these will be done. And we'll be showing our countdown sounds.
I'm excited. I'm excited because it's a surprise.
Yeah.
And I've never done anything like that before. We shall see.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed seeing that cute little Mill Hill piece and how we're both working on it. Hope you enjoyed seeing Julia's progress on her bigger piece as well. So now I just want to talk quickly about what my cross-stitching plans are like for the rest of the year for November and December. So obviously Julia and I are going to be trying to finish up those Mill Hill ornaments in November. and that is to make space for some daily stitching on our holiday countdown boxes. Obviously, I still want to work on Needs No Paint. I'm trying to get that finished still by the end of the year, so that'll be a focus. And when I am sort of on track with that in November, if I manage to get there before the end of the month, I was thinking I might work a little bit on Ophelia, which is the Mirabilia pattern that I have been working on. And if you want to have a look at that, I can post some footage here of what it looks like from last time you saw it. But yeah, it's Nora November. So Nora Corbett is the designer behind Mirabilia. And so I might try and put some stitches in on Ophelia if I have time this month. There's also the Jingle Ball coming up at the beginning of December. This is something that I've attended the past 2 years. I haven't bought a ticket yet, but I probably will. I haven't because I'm trying not to spend money on cross-stitch stuff. Getting a ticket to go to the event is actually very cheap. It's only like $10. So I'm inclined to go just for that low price and not worry about any of the classes or anything like that. But I do know that it is a bit of a temptation because each of the designers is going to be bringing some kind of special design to the Jingle Ball that I will be tempted to purchase. But I think what I'm going to do is just buy a Jingle Ball ticket and then probably have a look at the Jingle Ball Baubles book, which is something they release every year, and it's a ornament booklet with one ornament from each designer. And the pricing on that is fairly low, especially if you're okay with the PDF copy, which I always am. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. Just an entry ticket and the Baubles book. But we shall see if it goes any further than that. Okay, so that's sort of it for cross stitch. I would like to do a little bit of a knitting update for you as well. So I have been doing some knitting. Last time I mentioned that I started a new pair of socks. I'm going to show you my progress on these socks. So I have completed one full sockie and I'd say like 2/3 of a second sock. So here's what it's looking like. I'll give you a little look at my progress. I'm stitching this on a 9-inch circular needle. I believe it's US size 1. Yeah, 2.25 millimeter. And I'll just show you the finished sock now. So yeah, US size 1. I'm using some fingering weight yarn. This is hand-dyed yarn by a local to me hand dyer called Nerds with Needles. I bought this skein of yarn and this little contrasting mini skein at HalCon last year. This year's HalCon was actually last weekend, or this weekend that just passed, and I decided not to buy another skein of Nerds with Needles yarn, even though I usually do every year buy one. Just because I've bought a few skeins of yarn recently. I bought a couple skeins when I was in Newfoundland in August, and I also bought a couple skeins a couple weeks ago when I was in New Brunswick, visiting New Brunswick with my friend Kim. So I just, trying to be more mindful of what I'm purchasing and like how much supplies do I really need to be hoarding and stashing in my house. And so I've got a bunch of skeins of yarn for knitting socks and such for Christmas. So I am not going to keep buying the beautiful, beautiful but expensive hand-dyed yarn skeins all the time. But yeah, this is almost done. I imagine I'll finish this second sock in a day or two and maybe get started on another pair of socks. But I do have another knitting whip that I've started since the last video. I decided to start a sweet shop blanket. I believe that's what it's called, but I'll put a picture here. There's a couple other floss tubers who are knitting this blanket. So I've seen it around and I thought it was really cute. And recently I had a visit with my very sweet nephew, whose current blankie is a blanket that I knit for him out of some Karen Simply Soft yarn, and I think that it's sort of like the softness of the blanket that he really likes. But that blankie has a gigantic hole in the middle of it, and I looked at it and I could probably repair the hole, but it is quite big and the blanket is still unraveling. So I thought I would instead try just making him a new blankie and seeing how that goes. So I went for a similar color palette to the last one, although it's not exactly the same. And let's see, here's where I'm at so far with this Sweet Shop blanket. So I've got 3 along the edge here and 4 over here. I think I'm going to do at least 1 more down here, and then we'll see how big it feels. But because he's getting a little bit older, I don't want this to be just a baby blanket size. I'd like for it to be something that he can kind of keep. So here are my colors. So lots of blues and a cream, like a navy blue, a more tealy blue, a light blue, a minty green, and a cream. And just kind of alternating, pairing those along the diagonal. Hello, there we go. Yeah. So that's coming along really well. And I bought also some purple yarn that I can make a similar one for my niece. I'll give you a little look at the type of yarn that I'm using here. Karen Simply Soft. So these are 2 purples that I will use, and probably some of the colors that I've used in my nephew's blanket I will mix in with those purples as well. So my niece, her favorite color is purple, but she also really likes Frozen. So I think a mixture of purples and blues would be good for her too. All right, so I think that's about it. One thing that I forgot to mention, I mentioned that I was trying to whip down, and that's part of the reason that I really pushed myself to finish the 2 Quaker Sisters piece and Leshy. So as it currently stands, I've divided my works in progress into 2 categories: large pieces, my full coverage pieces, and smaller medium pieces. So I currently have 5 large pieces. I'm picking one of these always to be focusing on. Right now I'm focusing on Needs No Paint. Once that's finished, I will switch. And I think my next one that I'm going to focus on will be Mini African Mammals. So as soon as I'm done with Needs No Paint, that will be my full coverage focus. So for small and medium, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 whips, and then 5 to 6 if you count the Mill Hill ornament that I'm stitching with Julia, but I am trying to finish that before the end of November anyway. And then I also have the Stitch for Pride yearly stitch along, which I'm behind on. I haven't stitched. I think I still have like August, September, October, and November to do, and soon December. So yeah, those, or maybe it's just September. Anyways, I'm behind on that one. You might count it as a whip, but I haven't started any of the month. Like I'm not in the middle of one of them, but I do want to finish those pieces. Anyways, this whip count that I have right now, 10-ish whips, is something that I'm feeling pretty comfortable with, especially since only 5 or 6 of those whips are like smaller pieces. So I'm going to try and kind of stay around that number for smaller pieces. And for my large full coverage works in progress, I'm going to try and like one by one finish them up, and not start new ones to like replace them necessarily. But with my smaller projects, I likely will start new things when I'm around or less than 5 of those projects, just because I like having a few different kinds of projects to work on, just to sort of suit whatever mood I happen to be in at that time. So yeah, I think that that's pretty much all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for checking out my video. As always, I'm actually getting really close to 500 subscribers on this channel. My subscriber growth has been pretty slow and steady compared to some other channels that I've seen on here. That's not something that I'm complaining about at all. I am totally happy with how fast the channel is growing or how slow it's growing. That's totally fine with me. However many of you there are watching, I'm grateful for that. This is something that I find rewarding regardless. But I do think that I will do sort of a bit of a celebration once I hit that 500 subscriber milestone, and that will be associated with a giveaway. So keep your eye out for that. I think it could potentially happen between now and the next video, or maybe the one after that or something. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that. And I guess this is just to say, while I don't necessarily care about how many subscribers I have, in that I don't need to see that number going up necessarily, I do appreciate it and like it when people do subscribe and come back, and especially when you comment and chat with me in the comments. That means a lot to me, and it makes it very fun. So yes, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time with me. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.